When Alpha King Isaac Bowman entered the clearing, every wolf dropped to its knees, but he barely noticed them. His silver eyes went straight to Hope, and the 3 orphaned pups pressed against her chest. "How long have they been following you?" he asked. Hope said she had only found them minutes earlier. Isaac's expression changed. "No, they found you." Then he noticed the strange silver markings on one pup's paws, and the most powerful wolf in the Northern Territories suddenly looked stunned. Chapter 1. Rain hammered the forest in freezing sheets. Hope Horn ran as if death itself were chasing her, because it was. Her bare feet struck mud, stones, and exposed roots as she forced herself deeper between the trees. Her thin dress was soaked through, clinging heavily to her body and slowing every step. Each breath tore painfully from her lungs. Behind her, voices carried through the storm. "There, find her. She can't have gone far. The orphan witch has to answer for what she did." Hope's jaw tightened. Witch. That was what they had begun calling her 3 days earlier, after an elder's daughter had fallen mysteriously ill, and the Clearwater Pack decided someone had to be blamed. Hope had cursed no one. She did not even know how. But she was an Omega without parents, powerful relatives, or pack connections. When no one was willing to defend you, the truth mattered very little. Survival mattered. And right now, surviving meant running. Thunder split the sky. Hope stumbled and caught herself against a tree. Rough bark scraped both palms, but she barely felt it. Fear had swallowed everything else. Clearwater had been her home for 23 years. It was the only place she remembered after her parents died when she was 5. But home had slowly become a prison, and now that prison had become a death sentence. Hope pushed away from the trunk and ran again. Then she heard something. A whimper. Small. Weak. She slowed despite every instinct screaming at her not to. Another frightened sound came from beneath a fallen log. Hope turned. 3 tiny wolf pups huddled together under the wood, soaked with rain and covered in mud. They could not have been more than a few weeks old. Their golden eyes stared at her in terror. "No," Hope whispered. "No, no, no, I can't." She did not have time. The hunting party was getting closer. Then the smallest pup crawled toward her. A little female with a white patch across her chest. She gave a weak, miserable cry. Hope's heart broke. Damn it. She dropped to her knees. All 3 pups were freezing. Their small bodies trembled violently beneath their wet fur. "Where's your mother?" Hope searched the surrounding forest. Nothing. No adult wolf, no den, no sign that anyone was coming back for them. If she left, they would die. And the cruelest part was that Hope was probably going to die too if she stayed. The angry voices behind her grew louder. Hope made her choice. She gathered all 3 pups and tucked them beneath her dress against her chest. They were astonishingly small, little more than bundles of wet fur in desperation. Their hearts hammered against her skin. "I've got you," she whispered. She had no idea whether the promise was true. "I've got you." Then she ran. The forest blurred. Trees became dark shapes around her. Her legs burned. Her lungs felt ready to tear apart. Tiny claws scratched her skin as the frightened pups shifted against her. Hope only held them tighter. She could not let them go. And something deep inside her seemed to agree. A strange warmth stirred in her core. Hope nearly stumbled. She had felt faint traces of it before, something buried so deeply inside herself that she had learned to ignore it. Now it spread outward. The warmth surrounded the pups like invisible arms. Their trembling eased. Their cries stopped. And Hope suddenly felt them, not merely their bodies. Their fear, their need, their trust. A connection formed between them, fragile and impossible. Hope's heart pounded harder. Omegas were not supposed to form bonds with pups that were not their own. It was unnatural, according to every rule she had ever been taught. Forbidden, even. Hope had spent most of her life being punished by rules that made no sense. She kept running. Almost there, she lied softly. She had no idea where there was. The earth suddenly dropped beneath her feet. Hope skidded down a muddy slope, fighting to remain upright as branches tore at her dress and scratched her arms. One pup yelped. Hope tightened her hold. Shh, it's okay, I promise. It was not okay. Nothing about this was okay. She crashed through a final wall of undergrowth and burst into a clearing. Then she stopped. An ancient shrine stood before her. Moss and vines covered crumbling stone pillars arranged in a circle. Strange symbols had been carved into every surface. Spirals, moons, and shapes resembling flames. At the center stood an altar untouched by the decay surrounding it. Hope stared. Rain poured across the entire clearing, except inside the circle. Not one drop crossed the boundary. She had heard stories of places like this. Forbidden places. Sacred places. Places where the magic of their ancestors still remained, and the barrier between worlds was said to grow thin. The voices behind her came closer. Hope had nowhere else to go. She ran into the stone circle and dropped behind the altar, pressing her back against the cold surface. The pups whimpered. Hope pulled them partly from beneath her dress to make sure they were unharmed. 3 sets of golden eyes looked back at her. The little female with the white chest, a dark gray male, and a slightly larger male with unusual silver markings across his paws. Hope stroked them with trembling fingers. You chose the wrong Omega to follow, she whispered. I can't even save myself. The white-patched female licked her thumb. Tears burned Hope's eyes. Then the hunting party entered the clearing. There, she's at the shrine. She's desecrating sacred ground. Grab her before she curses us too. Hope closed her eyes and curled herself around the pups. So this was how she would die. Not alone, not abandoned, but with 3 innocent lives depending on someone too weak to protect them. The warmth inside Hope suddenly flared. Her eyes flew open. Heat rushed through her veins like liquid fire. The pups began to glow faintly where their bodies touched hers. Hope stared in disbelief. What? A powerful voice cut across the clearing. Hopehorn, Beta Glenn Mackenzie appeared at the edge of the sacred circle with 5 enforcers. All 6 shifted into wolf form. Rain steamed from their fur. Their eyes burned with predatory intent. Glenn shifted back and pointed toward Hope. Step out of the shrine. You committed crimes against your pack. You will face judgment. Something inside Hope hardened. I committed no crime except being born without power, Glenn snarled. You are a curse on our bloodline. You've brought sickness and misfortune to Clearwater. The moon goddess herself has marked you as... He stopped. Everyone did. A symbol on the nearest pillar had begun to glow, then another, and another. Silver light spread through the ancient carvings, pulsing in rhythm with Hope's heartbeat. The stone altar beneath her hands grew warm. The air shimmered. Glenn's face changed. What are you doing? For the first time in Hope's life, she heard fear in his voice. I'm not doing anything. And she meant it. Hope had no idea what was happening. The warmth continued spreading through her body. It connected her to the pups, then to the altar, then to the pillars, then to the earth itself. Something ancient seemed to awaken beneath her. The silver-marked pup raised his small head. He howled. The sound should have been tiny. Instead, it echoed across the clearing like thunder. The shrine answered. Silver and golden light erupted from the pillars. It looked like moonlight turned solid. The enforcers yelped and stumbled backward. Glenn shifted into human form again, his face drained of color. Impossible. He stared at the blazing stones. The Shrine of First Mothers hasn't answered anyone in 200 years. Hope stared at the light surrounding her, at the glowing pups, at the ancient magic she had somehow awakened. This did not happen to Omegas. It did not happen to anyone. What is she? One of the enforcers whispered. Before anyone could answer, another presence entered the clearing. The atmosphere changed instantly. Power rolled through the forest. Absolute. Unquestionable. Every enforcer dropped to his knees. Even the wolves bowed their heads. Glenn fell onto one knee and looked at the ground. A man stepped from between the trees. Tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in black despite the rain. Wet dark hair fell across a face carved with hard, controlled lines. Then Hope saw his eyes. Pale gray, almost silver. They fixed directly on her. Hope forgot to breathe. Alpha King Isaac Bowman, ruler of the Northern Territories, one of the most powerful wolves alive. And he was staring at Hope as though everything he understood about the world had just been challenged. Everyone out. He did not raise his voice. He did not need to. Your Majesty, Glenn began. This Omega has... I said now. Isaac's gaze never left Hope. And if I discover that any of you laid a hand on her, you will answer to me personally. The clearing emptied within seconds. Then only 4 figures remained within the awakened shrine. Hope, 3 orphaned pups, and the Alpha King. Isaac walked toward her. Hope instinctively clutched the pups closer. She should run. She should shift. She should do anything except sit frozen, while one of the most dangerous men in the territories approached her. But running was pointless, and shifting had never been an option. Her wolf had always been too weak. Isaac stopped at the edge of the circle. Something crossed his face. Surprise, wonder, and something Hope could not identify. His gaze dropped to the pups. How long have they been following you? Hope swallowed. I found them maybe 20 minutes ago. They were alone, abandoned. No. Isaac slowly shook his head. His eyes moved from Hope to the pups. They found you. Hope frowned. There's a difference. He stepped across the sacred boundary. The shrine immediately grew brighter. Hope gasped as the warmth inside her surged toward him, not attacking. Reaching. Almost recognizing. Isaac felt it too. His eyes widened. His breath caught. What are you? Hope lifted her chin. An Omega who's having a very bad week. Something almost like amusement touched his mouth. Then the Alpha King did something Hope never expected. He knelt, in the mud, in front of a powerless Omega. Slowly, he extended one hand. Hope did not move away. Isaac touched the white-patched female's head. The pup immediately leaned into him. The shrine pulsed. Isaac froze. His attention moved to the larger pup's paws. The silver markings. His expression changed completely. These aren't simply abandoned pups. Hope's pulse jumped. What do you mean? Isaac looked almost afraid to answer. Do you know which bloodline carries silver markings on the paws? Hope shook her head. The royal line. Isaac stared at the 3 pups. These are my brother's children. Hope's world seemed to tilt. The heirs, everyone believed, died in the fire 6 months ago. She could barely form words. I don't understand. Neither do I. Isaac looked at her again. Somehow, the intensity in his eyes was even stronger. Against every law of nature and magic I know, you bonded with the lost heirs of the Northern Territories, and you awakened a shrine that has been silent since before my grandfather was born. Hope's mind refused to keep up. Isaac paused. What's your name? Hope. He waited. Hope Horn. Hope. He repeated it slowly. The prophecy spoke of hope. Her stomach tightened. What prophecy? An Omega who would restore a broken connection between the royal bloodline and the ancient magic. Isaac's expression had turned distant. We always believed it was just a story. What prophecy? Hope demanded again. She was tired of everyone knowing more about her life than she did. Isaac's hand moved from the pup to Hope's face. His thumb brushed rainwater from her cheek. Electricity shot through her. Isaac inhaled sharply. His pupils widened. Hope knew he had felt it too. The prophecy that says someone like you is supposed to save us. His voice lowered. And somehow, Hope, it appears you've already begun. Chapter 2. Shelter in the storm. The rain had stopped. Hope had not stopped shaking. She sat inside Isaac's enormous tent, while an entire camp appeared around the shrine with astonishing speed. His wolves worked with military precision. Outside, Hope heard footsteps, voices, orders, and fires being coaxed to life despite the wet ground. Inside, she listened to 3 tiny heartbeats. The pups slept against her chest, wrapped inside the dry shirt Isaac had given her. His shirt. It smelled of pine, smoke, and something darker. Something that made the wolf inside Hope stir more strongly than it had in years. She looked at the sleeping pups. The impossible bond between them continued humming beneath her skin. Royal blood, lost heirs, silver markings. Hope still could not understand any of it. The tent flap moved. Isaac entered carrying a tray. A bowl of hot soup steamed beside bread and clean water. The smell hit Hope so hard that her empty stomach cramped. When had she eaten last? Yesterday morning? Maybe earlier. "You need food," Isaac said. It did not sound like a suggestion. He placed the tray on a small table and pulled a chair closer. Every movement was controlled and careful, as though he were approaching a frightened animal that might flee. He was not wrong. Hope watched the soup without touching it. "Why are you helping me?" Isaac frowned. "Why wouldn't I? Because I'm nobody." The bitterness came automatically. An omega without a pack. No family. No power. Your wolves were hunting me less than an hour ago. For all you know, they were right. Isaac leaned back and studied her. In the warm lamplight, Hope could finally see him clearly. A scar crossed his left eyebrow. His face was severe and striking. His jaw tightened whenever he was thinking. He was beautiful in the way a storm was beautiful. Powerful. Dangerous. Capable of destruction. "Were they right?" he asked. "No." Hope held his gaze. Every instinct she had been trained to obey told her to lower her eyes before an alpha. She refused. "I didn't curse anyone. I couldn't. I don't have that kind of power." Isaac's gaze sharpened. "And yet you awakened the shrine of first mothers." Hope said nothing. "You bonded with royal heirs." His attention dropped to her skin. "And you're glowing." Hope blinked. "What?" "Look." She looked down. A faint silver light clung to her arms. It pulsed with the pup's breathing. Hope touched her skin. The glow brightened for an instant, then softened. Her voice dropped. "I don't understand what's happening to me." "Neither do I." Isaac leaned forward. "But I know what I witnessed. Those pups chose you. That shrine recognized something in you that it hasn't recognized in anyone for 2 centuries. It doesn't make sense. I'm just..." "Stop." The command made Hope's wolf recoil. Isaac's expression hardened. "Stop saying you're just anything." He leaned closer. "I've met thousands of wolves. Alphas, betas, omegas. Wolves from nearly every rank and bloodline." His voice softened. "I have never met anyone who could do what you did tonight." Hope's throat tightened. Part of her desperately wanted to believe him. That part frightened her more than almost anything else. Belief became hope. Hope became expectation, and expectations could hurt worse than cruelty. "The soup is getting cold," she said. Isaac understood the retreat. His jaw tightened, but he did not force the conversation. He stood. "I'll give you privacy." At the entrance, he stopped. "But Hope." She looked up. "Those pups need you strong. Whatever else you believe about yourself, believe that." Then he left. Hope stared at the food. Real food. Warm food. Not the leftovers and scraps she had become accustomed to receiving in Clearwater. Her hand trembled as she lifted the first spoonful. The moment she tasted it, she nearly cried. She ate quickly because she truly was starving. The pups slept against her throughout the meal. When the bowl was empty, Hope finally allowed herself to think. Glenn. The hunt. The shrine, the light, Isaac, and the way the Alpha King had looked at her as though she mattered. No one had looked at Hope that way in 18 years. She touched the white-patched pup. Who were your parents? The little female shifted in her sleep. And why did you choose me? The bond pulsed. Images and emotions flashed through Hope. Fear, cold, loss, then warmth, safety, home. Hope's breath caught. They had been searching for home, and somehow they had chosen her. Tears slipped down her cheeks. She had spent her entire life searching for the same thing. Maybe that was why they had found one another. Maybe lonely things recognized loneliness. The tent opened. Hope quickly wiped her face. But Isaac did not enter. A small, fierce-looking woman stepped inside. Her dark hair was braided tightly against her head, and her sharp eyes seemed capable of examining the entire tent in one glance. I'm Carrie. No bow. No elaborate introduction. The Alpha King asked me to bring you proper clothes and check the pups. She lifted a bundle of fabric. I'm also the pack healer. So if you're injured, tell me now. I'm fine. Carrie stared at her. You are covered in cuts and bruises. You ran through a forest barefoot during a storm, while carrying 3 newborn royal heirs. She folded her arms. Try again. Despite everything, Hope almost smiled. I'm functional. Better. Carrie approached. Her gaze moved toward the sleeping pups. May I? Hope's arms tightened automatically. She forced herself to relax. Carrie noticed but said nothing. She knelt and examined each pup carefully. Breathing. Heartbeats. Pause. Ears. None of them woke. Carrie's eyebrows lifted. They trust you completely. Hope looked down. Is that unusual? It should be impossible. Carrie sat back. Royal heirs are born with their wolves much closer to the surface than normal pups. They're naturally suspicious of almost everyone outside their family. Her gaze returned to Hope. These 3 are sleeping against you as if they've known you since birth. Is that bad? I don't know. Carrie studied her more closely. What bloodline are you? Unknown. Hope's voice flattened. My parents died when I was 5. There are no records I know of. No relatives. No one. Carrie clearly disliked the answer, but she did not press. Well, whoever you are, you've shaken Isaac more than anyone I've seen in years. Hope's pulse quickened. Why is he even here? Kings don't usually patrol border packs. He's been searching. For what? For 6 months. Carrie stood. Ever since the fire that supposedly killed his brother and sister-in-law, Isaac never accepted that his brother was truly gone. He said he should have felt it through their alpha bond. She glanced at the pups. Apparently he was right to keep searching. Carrie headed toward the exit. Change clothes. Rest. The pups will need food soon. We'll find something suitable until we locate a nursing she-wolf. Then she stopped. One more thing. Isaac has called a gathering at dawn. Hope stiffened. Every ranked wolf in the territory is expected. Why? Carrie's smile held no humor. Because you just changed everything, Hope Horn. She looked at the 3 pups. And now everyone needs to decide what that means. Carrie left. Hope sat in silence. Changed everything. Those words fought against older ones. Worthless. Powerless. Broken. For 18 years, Clearwater had taught her exactly where she belonged. At the bottom. She had been kept because pack law and the moon goddess demanded basic protection for omegas. But protection had never meant love, or respect, or belonging. Now an Alpha King was telling her she mattered. Ancient magic responded to her. 3 royal heirs slept against her heart as if she were their mother. Hope studied them. The female with the white chest. The dark gray male. The male with silver-marked paws. 3 tiny lives. 3 lives that now depended on her. I don't know how to do this, she whispered. The pups slept on. I don't know how to become what you need. The warmth inside Hope pulsed. It carried no hesitation, no fear, only certainty. These pups were hers to protect. Perhaps she did not need to know anything more yet. Hope changed into the clothing Carrie had brought. Soft wool trousers. A tunic that actually fit. The simple comfort felt almost luxurious after her torn, threadbare dress. She braided her wet hair and settled with the pups again. Outside, ordinary pack life continued. Laughter, conversation, orders, wolves belonging together. Hope had nearly forgotten what belonging sounded like. The tent opened again. Isaac entered. He had changed into dry clothes. His hair had been pushed away from his face. But that intense look remained, the look of someone trying to understand a mystery. Carrie says you refused a medical examination. I told her I'm fine. You keep saying that. Isaac approached. You're exhausted, frightened. You've barely eaten. You're running on stubbornness and adrenaline. He crouched beside her chair until their eyes were level. Let me help you. Why? The question came out more sharply than Hope intended. Why do you care what happens to me? Isaac became still. Then he slowly lifted a hand and brushed a damp strand of hair away from Hope's face. The gentleness of the touch almost hurt. Because you saved them. His eyes moved toward the pups. You could have kept running. His thumb touched her cheek. You could have left them there and chosen your own survival. Hope's breath caught. But you stopped. You protected 3 helpless lives even when doing so made your own chances worse. His eyes returned to hers. That tells me more about you than any rank ever could. I'm nobody, Hope whispered. The words sounded weaker now. No. Isaac's voice dropped. You are the woman who bonded with my nephews and niece. Hope looked at him. You are the woman the shrine recognized. He leaned closer. And whether you understand it yet or not, Hope Horn, you are the woman who just turned my entire world upside down. The space between them seemed charged. Hope's skin tingled. Her wolf stirred with a strange longing. I don't know how to be what you need. Isaac gave a tired, genuine smile. Then we learned together. His hand remained against her face. I'm not asking you to become anyone else. His expression turned serious. Just trust me enough to keep you safe. Hope thought of Clearwater, of Glenn, of the hunting party, of everything she had spent her life learning about powerful wolves. Then she felt 3 tiny heartbeats against her, and she looked at the king kneeling beside her. I'll try. That's all I'm asking. Isaac stood. He had almost reached the entrance when Hope spoke. Isaac. He turned. Something warm moved through his expression when she used his name. Thank you. For what? For stopping them. Hope looked at the pups. For helping us. Isaac's smile grew slightly. Thank you for keeping them alive long enough for me to find them. He stepped outside. Sleep, Hope. Tomorrow is going to be complicated. Hope remained alone with the pups. For one terrifying, wonderful moment, she allowed herself to consider the possibility that she might not be as powerless as she had always believed. Maybe she would survive. Maybe she could belong somewhere. Chapter 3. Standing Before Judgment. Dawn came too quickly. Hope woke to 3 pups squirming against her chest. Their whimpers grew louder. Hunger, she sat up. Every muscle protested after the previous night's run. Shh, I know. The pups continued complaining. I know you're hungry. Give me a minute. I'm figuring it out. Carrie entered with a basket. I thought you'd be awake. She smiled faintly. Wolf pups have terrible timing. Inside the basket were several bottles filled with milk. Milk, goat's milk mixed with herbs. It isn't perfect, but it'll keep them fed until we find a nursing she-wolf. Hope reached for a bottle. Will they drink from these? Royal pups? Carrie knelt. Probably not without a fight. Then she nodded toward Hope. But your bond changes things. They'll accept it from you. She was right. The white-patched female latched onto the bottle immediately. Her tiny paws pressed against Hope's fingers. Then the males fed. Within minutes, Frightened cries had become contented little sounds. Carrie watched. "You're a natural. I'm terrified. Sometimes that's the same thing." Carrie's expression grew more serious. "The gathering begins in an hour. Isaac wants you there, but he won't force you if you're not ready." Hope's stomach tightened. "What happens there?" Isaac announces that the heirs survived. He explains how they were found. Carrie paused. Then he decides what happens next. Hope understood, including what happens to me. Yes, they'll want me gone. It was not a question. Hope knew how wolves saw omegas. They were tolerated, useful, rarely celebrated. An omega bonded with 3 royal heirs would not be considered a miracle by everyone. Some would see a problem. "Some will want you removed," Carrie admitted, "but Isaac's word is law. And if Isaac decides I'm dangerous?" Hope looked down. "If he takes them from me?" Carrie's silence was answer enough. Hope's hands trembled as she finished feeding the pups. The thought of losing them already felt unbearable. "I need to speak to Isaac." "When?" "Before the gathering." Carrie studied her, then nodded. "I'll take you." She stood. "But whatever you intend to say, make it count. Isaac is under pressure." "What kind of pressure?" "The council has been pushing him to remarry and secure the royal bloodline." Carrie glanced at the pups. Finding these 3 changes the situation. She gave Hope a pointed look. "But it also creates new complications." Hope rose. Carrie added quietly, "Be careful. Kings are more dangerous than ordinary alphas." A pause. "Even the good ones." Soon afterward, Hope stood outside Isaac's tent. The pups rested in a sling against her chest. Around her, wolves prepared the camp. Fires burned. Food was distributed. A raised platform was being completed for the gathering. Several wolves stared at Hope. Some looked curious, others suspicious. Hope met each stare until its owner looked away. A guard opened the tent. "The Alpha King is expecting you." Hope entered. Isaac stood over a table covered with maps. His hands were braced against its surface. His shoulders were tight. He looked as though he had not slept. When he saw Hope, he immediately crossed the space between them. His gaze checked her first, then the pups. "Is everything all right?" "I need to ask you something." Hope forced herself to hold his gaze. "And I need the truth. Always. Are you going to take them away from me?" Isaac went completely still. Pain flashed across his face. "Is that what you think I would do?" "I think you're a king." Hope spoke carefully. "You have territories to protect. Responsibilities I don't understand." She swallowed. "And 3 royal heirs magically bonded to a powerless omega probably isn't an ideal situation." Isaac's jaw tightened. "If you decided I was too weak, too dangerous, or simply wrong for them, you would have to do what protects your bloodline." Hope's voice trembled. "So I'm asking you to tell me now." She looked at the sleeping pups. "Give me a chance to prepare myself." Isaac crossed the final distance. His hands framed her face. Hope stopped breathing. "I am not taking them from you." His voice held absolute certainty. "Not today." His thumbs moved across her cheekbones. "Not tomorrow." His eyes locked onto hers. "Not ever." "Do you understand?" Tears spilled from Hope's eyes. "But, listen to me." His expression softened. "I spent 6 months searching for them. 6 months believing my brother's bloodline had been destroyed." His voice roughened. "Then you appeared. You bonded with them. You awakened ancient magic. You protected them when no one else even knew they were alive." Isaac leaned closer. "You didn't simply find them, Hope. You saved them." His tone became fierce. "I don't care what the council says. I don't care what tradition says. Those pups chose you. And I will not dishonor their choice." Hope felt every word settle inside her. "What if I'm not strong enough?" Isaac's forehead rested against hers. "Then we face whatever happens together." Hope closed her eyes. But you have to stop assuming everyone will abandon you. His breath warmed her skin. Stop waiting for someone to tell you you're worthless. He lowered his voice. You are enough, Hope. A pause. More than enough. Someone knocked against the tent pole. Isaac pulled back. Your Majesty, a man called. The gathering is assembled. The tenderness disappeared from Isaac's posture. The king returned, but his eyes remained warm when he looked at Hope. Ready? Hope thought of Clearwater. 18 years of being overlooked. 3 pups now trusting her with their lives. No. Isaac almost smiled. But I'll do it anyway. That's my girl. The words hit Hope harder than they should have. She was not his girl. She was not his anything. But her wolf reacted with an aching pleasure that Hope tried desperately to ignore. They walked toward the gathering. Isaac slightly ahead. Hope at his right. Guards surrounding them. Hundreds of wolves filled the clearing. Morning sunlight fell through the trees. Conversation died when Hope appeared. Every gaze moved to her. She could almost hear the assessments. Weak. Unimportant. Omega. The word traveled through the crowd in whispers. Isaac placed a steadying hand against the small of her back. Stay close. His voice was quiet. And remember something. Hope glanced toward him. You belong here. They climbed onto the platform. Isaac indicated that Hope should stand beside him, not behind him. The crowd immediately noticed. Murmurs spread. Isaac faced them. Wolves of the Northern Territories. Silence fell. 6 months ago, my brother Javier and his mate died in a fire that destroyed their compound. His expression did not change, but Hope felt the grief beneath his control. We mourned them. We honored them. We believed their bloodline had ended. He paused. We were wrong. Isaac nodded to Hope. With trembling fingers, she opened the sling enough to reveal the pups. Gasps filled the clearing. Some wolves rose to their feet. The heirs survived, Isaac announced. Against every expectation, they survived. He looked at Hope. And they were found by this woman. Hope Horn, an Omega of the Clearwater Pack. She protected them, bonded with them, and brought them back to us. Someone shouted, an Omega bonded with royal heirs. Impossible. Isaac remained calm. Impossible or not, it happened. Our healers have confirmed the bond. It is complete, real, and unbreakable. Another voice rose. She must have used dark magic. No Omega has power like that naturally. Hope's arms tightened. She had expected it. That did not make the accusation hurt less. Isaac's entire presence changed. Choose your next words very carefully. The crowd quieted. Because if you accuse Hope of corruption, you are also suggesting that the moon goddess made a mistake. Silence. The Shrine of First Mothers answered her. Isaac scanned the crowd. Ancient magic that ignored every wolf for 2 centuries recognized Hope. Are you claiming a shrine built by our ancestors and blessed by the goddess itself would respond to darkness? No one spoke. Or have we become so obsessed with rank and blood that we've forgotten what our goddess actually values? An older woman stood. White hair, regal posture, sharp eyes. Your Majesty. She inclined her head. I am Elder Willa Roberts of the Western Council. Isaac acknowledged her. No one questions the goddess's wisdom, Willa continued. But surely you understand the complications. An Omega bonded to royal heirs. Means the heirs have a protector, Isaac interrupted. One who already proved she will choose their lives before her own. What more do you require? Someone appropriate, Willa replied. Someone trained. Someone with proper rank who can raise future alphas. Hope spoke before fear could silence her. Someone who isn't an Omega. Every head turned. Willa looked at her. This is not personal, child. It's practical. Omegas lack the strength, the authority, the what? Hope stepped forward. A pup shifted against her chest. The power? Hope's voice grew stronger. Because I seem to remember awakening a shrine that none of your appropriate wolves could awaken. Murmurs spread. The authority? Hope looked down at the pups. They chose me. She looked back at Willa. Isn't their choice worth anything? Willa's expression tightened. Or can you simply not accept that the goddess may value something your traditions have spent centuries dismissing? Chaos erupted. Some shouted support. Others demanded Hope's removal. The pups woke. They began crying. The white-patched female suddenly raised her head. Then she howled. The sound was far too strong for something so small. At the edge of the clearing, the shrine blazed to life. Silver light flooded the pillars. Every ancient symbol began glowing. The entire crowd felt it. The pressure of something old, something sacred. The pups howled. Warmth exploded inside Hope. It connected her to them, to the shrine, to something greater. Silver and gold light spread across Hope's skin. Her wolf rose inside her, but not as the weak, half-silent creature Hope had known for years. Powerful, whole, certain. Hope, Isaac breathed. She could not answer. Magic poured through her. Every wolf in the clearing felt the bond, felt the shrine's approval, felt something like the touch of the goddess. Then the light slowly faded. Hope remained standing. The pups settled. She was still an Omega, but something else had awakened with her. Willa stared. Her face had gone pale. Blessed Mother. Her voice was barely audible. The silver flame. She looked at Hope. She's the one described in the old texts. Isaac took Hope's hand. His fingers threaded through hers. Then he looked directly at Willa. Still think she's inappropriate? No one answered. Chapter 4. Secrets of the Ancient Ones. The gathering slowly dispersed. Wolves formed groups throughout the camp, arguing in hushed voices. Some looked at Hope with suspicion, others with reverence. All of them looked. Isaac kept hold of her hand while guards surrounded them. Hope was grateful for the protection. Her legs still felt weak. Her entire body hummed with magic she did not understand. Where are we going? Somewhere without an audience. Isaac's jaw was tight. And somewhere you can understand what just happened. They entered the forest. The pups remained comfortable against Hope. The deeper they traveled, the older the trees seemed. After some distance, they reached another clearing. Hope stopped. A larger stone circle stood there. 7 pillars rather than 5. Their surfaces were covered in intricate carvings that seemed to shift under the sunlight. At the center stood a stone table covered in ancient writing. The archive of first mothers, Isaac said. This is where our ancestors recorded the prophecies. He released Hope's hand and approached one pillar. I haven't been here since childhood. My father brought me once. He told me stories about the silver flame. Isaac looked toward Hope. I thought they were stories. Hope approached the stone table. The writing glowed faintly as she neared it. She could not read the language. Yet somehow she felt the meaning pressing against her consciousness. What is the silver flame? Isaac looked at her. For a moment, Hope saw fear and wonder together in his eyes. A myth. He exhaled. Or it was. Isaac moved closer. The prophecy describes an Omega born beneath a blood moon. One marked by the goddess. She would bridge the broken connection between ancient magic and the royal bloodline. Hope's pulse quickened. She would carry the silver flame, a power capable of healing or destroying, protecting or consuming, and she would appear when the royal line approached extinction. Hope went cold. The fire. Isaac nodded. The fire that killed Javier and his mate happened 6 months ago. His expression sharpened. The same week you turned 23. The same week a blood moon rose over the northern territories. Hope's knees weakened. Isaac caught her. I was born under a blood moon, she whispered. The Clearwater elder told me once. Hope stared at the ground. She said it was a bad omen. She said my parents died because I brought a curse into their lives. They lied. Isaac's voice hardened. Or they were ignorant. He held Hope securely, without pressing against the pups. The blood moon was never a curse. What was it? A mark. His gaze held hers. A way for the goddess to identify the vessels she chose. Hope pulled back. Chosen for what? Tears filled her eyes. I don't want this. I never asked for power or prophecies. Her voice broke. I wanted to survive. To find somewhere I belonged. Isaac cupped her face. And you did. Hope shook her head. He looked toward the pups. You found them. 3 lives that needed you as much as you needed them. His thumbs wiped her tears. This doesn't have to be punishment, Hope. Maybe it's purpose. The white-patched female woke. She blinked up at Hope, made a small sound, then nuzzled into her and went back to sleep. That simple trust nearly broke Hope. Tell me about their parents. Isaac's expression changed. About Javier and his mate. Grief settled over him. For a moment, he stopped looking like a king. He looked like an older brother who had lost someone. Javier was 3 years younger than me. Isaac turned away. He was everything I wasn't. Warm, easy with people. Always laughing. A faint smile touched him. He found his true mate at 25. Amalia Lamb. His voice caught on the name. She was an artist. Extraordinary. She painted murals throughout their compound, scenes from our history. Isaac looked at the pups. They would have grown up surrounded by those paintings. They would have learned who they were through her work. Hope listened quietly. They were good leaders, Isaac continued. Fair. Their pack loved them. When Amalia became pregnant, the entire territory celebrated. Triplets are rare among wolves. Powerful. His laugh held no joy. We believed our bloodline had been blessed. What changed? Isaac's expression hardened. The fire was not an accident. Hope stared. We found accelerants. Evidence of forced entry. Someone wanted Javier dead. Amalia too. His gaze moved to the pups. And their children. We thought whoever attacked them succeeded. Isaac leaned against a pillar. I spent 6 months hunting whoever did it. Every lead ended nowhere. All that time, he looked at the sleeping pups. They were alive. Somewhere. Hope frowned. But how? She touched the silver-marked male. They're too young to have survived alone for 6 months. That's what makes no sense. Isaac moved back toward the stone table. His fingers touched the glowing words. Then he froze. Unless? Hope looked up. Unless what? Isaac slowly turned. Unless the prophecy protected them. He approached Hope. The old texts say the flame-bearer would be drawn toward those she was meant to protect. That the goddess would preserve them until that connection could happen. Wonder entered his voice. What if they survived because you existed? Hope went still. Because somewhere in this world you were waiting for them. And somehow everything bent toward bringing you together. The idea seemed impossible. Yet the bond inside Hope responded. If that's true, she swallowed, then whoever killed Javier and Amalia will come for them again. Isaac's expression became dangerous. Which is why you're staying under my protection. He straightened. No arguments. Hope's old instincts wanted to object. She had spent her entire life depending on herself, but pride would not protect 3 newborn pups. Okay. Isaac blinked. Okay? I'm not stupid, Isaac. Hope looked at the pups. I can't protect them alone from someone powerful enough to kill an alpha and his mate. Her voice hardened. I'll accept whatever help keeps them alive. Something changed in Isaac's eyes. Respect. And something warmer. He crossed the space between them. You're remarkable. Hope stared at him. I'm terrified. Those things can both be true. His hand touched her cheek. Hope leaned into it before she realized what she was doing. Hope, what happened today is bigger than protecting 3 pups. Isaac's voice lowered. You awakened something that has been dormant for centuries. Willa is afraid of me? Willa. Isaac nodded. Half the council. They built generations of authority around bloodlines and rank. And you just showed everyone that the goddess may value something entirely different. So what happens now? Isaac gave a sharp smile. We make them understand that the goddess's will isn't a suggestion. His thumb brushed Hope's lower lip. Heat rushed through her. And we discover exactly what the silver flame can do. His gaze intensified. Because what happened at the gathering was only the beginning. Hope's wolf surged with longing. Every instinct urged her closer. Isaac stepped away. The moment broke. You need rest. His voice sounded rough. Tonight, training begins. Training? If you intend to protect these pups, you need control over your power. With whom? Isaac's smile turned almost wicked. Me. They returned to camp. The way wolves looked at Hope had already changed. Some lowered their heads respectfully. Others pressed fists to their hearts. Hope did not understand the gesture, only that it represented an acknowledgement she had never received before. Carrie waited at Hope's tent. You've caused quite a problem. Hope sat and prepared another bottle. How? Half this camp believes you're practically the goddess incarnate. Carrie handed her the bottle. The other half thinks you're an exceptionally convincing fraud. What do you think? Carrie considered her. I think people have underestimated you your whole life. A grin appeared. And I think they're about to discover how painful that mistake can become. Carrie's eyes flicked toward where Isaac had disappeared. I also think you have the Alpha King more unsettled than I've ever seen him. Hope felt her cheeks warm. I don't know what you mean. Of course not. Carrie's expression softened. Be careful, Hope. Isaac has spent his entire life putting duty first. If he starts caring about you... Carrie paused. Really caring. It will make things more complicated than either of you is prepared for. After Carrie left, Hope tried to ignore the warning. Isaac needed a queen. A powerful woman. Someone trained. Someone appropriate. Not an Omega from Clearwater. Not Hope. But she remembered the archive. The way Isaac had called her remarkable. The reverence in his touch. Maybe Carrie was wrong. Or maybe Hope was preparing herself for a heartbreak worse than anything Clearwater had given her. The pups eventually fell asleep after feeding. Hope looked at them and made herself a promise. Whatever happened between her and Isaac could not matter more than their safety. She would learn. She would face the council, the prophecy, ancient magic, whatever came. They had chosen her. Hope might not know how to be many things. But she knew loyalty. She knew how to fight for the few beings who had shown her kindness. And she knew how to protect what she considered hers. The afternoon passed quietly. As sunset approached, Hope's nerves returned. A guard came to her tent. The Alpha King requests your presence. I'm to escort you to training and watch the pups. The pups are coming. The guard hesitated. Miss Horn, His Majesty specifically. They come with me. Hope's voice became firmer. Silver warmth stirred inside her. I'm not leaving them. The guard bowed. As you wish. Isaac waited at a clearing near the camp's edge. He wore simple training clothes. When he saw the pups against Hope's chest, one eyebrow rose. I arranged for someone to watch them. And I decided they stay with me. Hope lifted her chin. Our bond is too new. Separation upsets them. That was true. It was also an excuse. Hope was not ready to trust anyone else with them. Not even Isaac. Isaac studied her. All right. He gestured toward the training ground. We adapt. He circled her slowly. What do you know about controlling a shift? Nothing. Hope hated admitting it. I've never shifted successfully. My wolf has always been too weak. She was never weak. Hope looked at him. She was dormant. Isaac stopped behind her. Waiting. Now she's awake. How do I control her? You don't. Isaac's voice lowered. Close your eyes. Hope obeyed. Feel her. His voice came from behind her. Your wolf isn't something separate that you force into submission. She's you, the truest part. Hope reached inward. For the first time, she saw her clearly. A silver-furred wolf, golden eyes, strong, whole, powerful. The wolf looked back. Finally. The words seemed to enter Hope's mind without sound. Finally you see me. I see her, Hope whispered. Good. Isaac placed both hands on Hope's shoulders. Ask her to come forward. Not to replace you. To merge. To share your skin. Hope reached. Her wolf reached back. Power surged through her body. Her senses exploded. Her bones shifted. When Hope opened her eyes, the world had changed. Colors looked brighter. Every sound was clearer. She could smell the forest, the camp, and Isaac. Pine, smoke. Something uniquely his. Look at your hands. Hope did. They were still human, but silver light moved beneath her skin. Her fingernails had become claws. A partial shift. Hope stared. How? Isaac stepped in front of her. Because you aren't only what Clearwater told you you were. His eyes burned with pride. You carry the silver flame. He smiled. And Hope, you're going to be magnificent. Chapter 5. Fire in the Darkness. Training became Hope's lifeline. For the next 3 days, she met Isaac every evening. The pups remained in their sling, usually sleeping while Isaac pushed Hope harder. On the third night, silver light moved beneath her skin as she fought to hold the partial shift. Again, Isaac ordered. Longer. Feel your wolf settling into your body instead of fighting it. Hope's muscles shook. Sweat rolled down her back despite the cold evening. I can't. Yes, you can. Isaac moved closer. You're afraid of what happens if you stop holding yourself back. Hope gritted her teeth. You think your power will consume you. His voice became steady. It won't. It will complete you. Hope wanted to believe that. But 23 years of being called weak did not disappear after 3 days. Her control broke. Hope stumbled. Isaac caught her. His arms closed around her waist. For several breaths, neither moved. Her back rested against his chest. His breath touched her ear. You held it for 2 minutes. Hope swallowed. 40 seconds longer than yesterday. It's not enough. It's progress. His arms tightened once before he released her. You're learning in days what others need years to understand. Isaac looked directly at her. Stop demanding perfection from yourself. Hope finally noticed how exhausted he looked. He had spent his days managing the camp, fighting with council members, protecting the heirs, and training her every evening. When was the last time you slept? Isaac frowned. Hope almost smiled. You look careful. I was going to say tired. Telling your king he looks terrible usually violates several standards of etiquette. I didn't say terrible. Isaac gave her a tired smile. Hope moved closer. You're pushing yourself too hard. And you aren't? Fair. The pups woke every few hours. Even when they slept, Hope's mind refused to rest. She had no right to criticize him. We're quite a pair, she said. Yes. Isaac's gaze held hers. We are. The silence grew charged. Hope's wolf pushed toward him, wanting contact. Recognition. Claiming. Then a horn sounded from the camp. Sharp. Urgent. Isaac transformed instantly from exhausted man to king. Alert signal. They ran. The camp had become controlled chaos. Warriors formed defensive lines. Carrie met them. Her face was pale. We have visitors. Who? Elder Willa and 6 council members. Isaac's expression hardened. They arrived without warning. Carrie looked at Hope. They're demanding an emergency tribunal. For what? Isaac asked. Hope. Carrie hesitated. They claim she used dark magic to manipulate you. They want her blood tested. They want the pups examined. And if they find corruption... Carrie stopped. Hope did not need the rest. Her blood went cold. They intend to take them. Over my dead body. Isaac's growl carried enough alpha power to make nearby wolves lower their heads. But Hope saw something else. Calculation. The council held ancient political authority. Even Isaac could not simply ignore 6 united council members without consequences. Your Majesty. Willa emerged between the tents. 6 older wolves accompanied her. All carried the confidence of rank inherited through generations. We need to speak. Then speak. Isaac's voice was ice. Willa looked past him. I have nothing to hide. Her attention settled on Hope. But does she? Hope's wolf stirred. Willa continued. 3 days ago, an unknown Omega awakened magic silent for 200 years. 3 days ago, she formed an unexplained bond with royal heirs. And 3 days ago, the Alpha King placed her beneath his personal protection. Willa stepped closer. Forgive me, Your Majesty, but it resembles manipulation. Dark arts intended to capture both you and the heirs. That's insane, Hope snapped. I didn't know any prophecy existed until Isaac told me. Another council member stepped forward. An older man with iron-gray hair. Exactly. Hope frowned. You claim you did not ask for this power. No. Then who gave it to you? His eyes narrowed. What force is working through you? The pups sensed Hope's fear. They began to whimper. Silver light flickered from her fingers. Willa immediately pointed. There. She can't control it. That is exactly why corruption cannot be allowed near the royal bloodline. The only corruption here is your prejudice, Isaac said. His voice dropped into a register that made the air itself feel heavy. Hope has done nothing except protect these children. She has trained. She has learned. She grows stronger every day. Willa remained unmoved. What we see is a king compromised by an Omega of unknown origin, wielding powers she should not possess. For the territory's protection, we will investigate. Isaac's eyes became dangerous. And if I refuse? Willa's smile held no warmth. We call a vote of no confidence. Silence fell. Hope knew enough about council law to understand. If 4 of 7 seats agreed a king had been compromised, the council could override his authority. Willa looked directly at Isaac. We already have the votes. Hope watched Isaac's jaw lock. He could fight. He could refuse. But forcing the issue could split the northern territories. A civil war. And everyone would blame Hope. She could not allow it. I'll submit. Isaac turned. Hope. No. She met his eyes. If testing me keeps the territories united and protects these pups, I'll do it. Then she faced Willa. I'm not afraid of your tests. Her heart was pounding. Because I know what I am. Her gaze hardened. And more importantly, I know what I'm not. Surprise flickered across Willa's face. Very well. The testing begins at dawn. She gestured toward Hope's tent. Until then, you will remain confined under guard. The pups may remain with you. You will not speak with anyone except the healers delivering their food. That's imprisonment, Carrie said. It's protocol. Willa's expression remained calm. If she is innocent, there is nothing to fear. Isaac looked ready to explode. Hope shook her head slightly. She understood the trap. The more aggressively Isaac defended her, the easier it would be to claim she controlled him. I accept. Hope was escorted to her tent. 2 unfamiliar guards stood outside. Isaac tried to follow. Willa blocked him. Your Majesty, until she is cleared, contact between you would raise more questions. She is alone with 3 infants. Healers will provide whatever she requires. Maintain appropriate distance. Hope looked back from the entrance. Isaac's eyes found hers. The anguish there hurt. I'll be fine, she mouthed. He did not believe her. The flap closed. Hope fed the pups, changed them, held them. Eventually she began singing songs her mother had taught her years before. She had almost forgotten the melodies. The pups settled. Their warmth kept Hope from drowning in fear. What if the council discovered something even she did not know? What if dark magic truly was involved? What if Clearwater had been right? Stop. Her wolf's voice rose clearly in her mind. You know who you are. Do not let them teach you to doubt yourself again. Hope closed her eyes, but doubt came easily after a lifetime of being told she was nothing. Hours passed. The camp eventually became quiet. Hope sat in darkness with the sleeping pups. Then she heard something outside. Not the guards. Another sound. Wrong. A smell reached her. Smoke. Hope's heart lurched. She rushed to the entrance. Both guards were lying on the ground. She could not tell whether they were unconscious or dead. Beyond them, flames moved through the camp. Too fast. Too deliberate. Not natural. No. Hope secured the pups in their sling. No, no. She ran outside. Wolves shouted as they tried to contain the flames. Then someone walked through the smoke. Tall, cloaked, face hidden beneath a hood. Hello, little Omega. Hope backed away. Voice rasped. We've been looking for you. Hope called her wolf. Silver light ignited beneath her skin. The partial shift came more easily now. Claws extended. Her senses sharpened. Stay back. The hooded stranger laughed. They told us you'd grown teeth. 3 more figures stepped from the smoke. 4 attackers. All focused on Hope. And the pups. Good, the first one said. This will be more interesting than simply killing an Omega. Hope's mind became cold. She could not defeat 4 trained killers. She could not outrun them while carrying the pups. Then she thought of the shrine. Not far. If she could reach it. Hope ran. The assassins followed. Branches tore at her. The pups cried against her chest. Their terror flooded through the bond. Laughter followed behind her. You can't outrun us. The pups die with you tonight. Hope's lungs burned. Ahead, she finally saw the ancient pillars. Almost there. Something struck her from the side. Hope twisted as she fell, using her own body to shield the pups. Pain exploded through her shoulder. She rolled and forced herself up. The hooded attacker stood between Hope and the shrine. End of the line. Hope's wolf snarled. She reached for the silver flame. Power erupted from her hands. The attacker flew backward and slammed into a tree. The other 3 immediately surrounded her. One tilted his head. Interesting. Then smiled. But uncontrolled power is noise. They attacked together. Hope fought. Claws. Teeth. Silver magic. She cut one attacker across the face. Dodged another strike. But she was inexperienced. And there were too many. A blade sliced across her ribs. Hope screamed. The pups screamed with her. Their fear hit the bond. And the bond exploded. Silver light erupted outward in a wave. The pups' power joined Hope's. Ancient. Raw. Absolute. All 3 assassins were thrown backward. The shrine blazed. Something inside Hope shifted. Awakened. Hope! Isaac's voice ripped through the clearing. A massive black wolf crashed through the trees. Behind him came a dozen warriors. The assassins fled. Isaac shifted back to human form before reaching Hope. His hands moved over her frantically. Then he saw the blood across her ribs. Murder entered his expression. Who did this? I don't know. Hope clutched the pups. They came for us. Her voice shook. They wanted us dead. Isaac pulled her carefully against him. I've got you. His arms closed around Hope and the pups. You're safe. I've got you. But both knew the truth. They were not safe. Whoever wanted the royal heirs dead, had just proven that they could reach them inside a guarded camp. And next time, hope might not be strong enough. Chapter 6. Hearts Claiming Hearts. Isaac carried Hope through the camp. She wanted to argue, to insist she could walk, but her legs would not support her. The adrenaline had disappeared, leaving exhaustion and a sharp pain across her ribs. The pups had finally stopped crying. They slept fitfully against her chest. Isaac issued orders without slowing. Search the perimeter. Find out how they passed our defenses. Double every entry guard. Wake Carrie. He did not return Hope to her smoke-filled tent. He carried her into his own quarters, then kicked the entrance shut. Isaac, don't. His voice was rough. Do not tell me you're fine. He placed her carefully on his bed. Do not call it a scratch. His hands shook. Tell me where else you're hurt. Hope had never seen him this furious, or this frightened. I should have been there. Isaac paced away. I should have refused, Willa. I should never have let them isolate you. They might have attacked when you were close enough to become a target too. Hope winced while adjusting herself. This isn't your fault. You could have died. Isaac turned. His eyes were raw. You could have died while I was across camp arguing about council protocol. The flap opened. Carrie rushed inside. One glance at Hope's blood-soaked clothing sent her immediately to work. She cut away fabric around the wound. Out, she told Isaac. No, Your Majesty, I need room. I said no. Carrie looked at him. Then Hope. Fine. She pointed toward a chair. But sit before you collapse. Isaac obeyed. His gaze never left Hope. Carrie examined the wound. It looks worse than it is. Hope exhaled. The cut is long but shallow enough to have missed anything vital. Carrie cleaned it. You were lucky. Another inch and your lung could have been punctured. She prepared stitches. You need rest. Carrie glanced at the pups. How are they? Scared. Hope swallowed. But unhurt. Her hands began trembling again. When they were frightened, I could feel it through the bond. Their fear entered me. Then my power. Their power joined yours, Isaac said. Hope nodded. That's why the shrine responded so violently. Carrie frowned. They aren't only bonded to you. They can channel through you. Her face darkened. Which means Hope is now an even larger target. Isaac's eyes narrowed. Carrie continued. Whoever wants the pups understands that Hope connects all four of them. No one is killing anyone. Isaac's voice carried finality. From this moment forward, Hope stays here. He looked at Carrie. My quarters. My personal guard. I don't care what the council thinks. The tribunal is postponed until I decide our security is adequate. His eyes burned. They cannot test Hope if she's dead. Carrie finished the stitches. Keep this clean. She stood. And avoid fights for at least a week. She began packing her supplies. I'll bring food for the pups. Then she looked at Isaac. Your Majesty, outside. Isaac followed her. Hope could hear their muffled voices through the walls. Carrie warning. Isaac refusing something. Hope looked at the pups. They were tiny, innocent. They did not deserve assassins, prophecies, political games. I'm sorry. Hope stroked the white-patched female. I'm sorry I can't give you peace. The pup woke. She looked at Hope, then nuzzled closer before falling asleep again. That small act destroyed Hope's composure. Tears came silently, for the parents the pups had lost, for Hope's own childhood, for everything almost taken from them, and for the terror that she might simply not be enough. Isaac returned. He saw her crying. His entire expression softened. Hope. He came to her immediately. Isaac gathered her carefully into his arms. It's all right. You're safe now. I was so scared, Hope admitted. She pressed her face against his chest. I thought they were going to kill us. I thought I wouldn't be fast enough. strong enough. But you were. Isaac held the back of her head. You fought 4 trained assassins. You survived. You kept all 3 pups alive. Do you understand how extraordinary that is? I got lucky. No. He pulled back. You were brave. There's a difference. Hope stared at him. At the man who kept seeing strength in her when she could only see fear. His face was close. Too close. Isaac. She was not even sure what she wanted. He seemed to know. His forehead touched hers. They breathed together. Hope's wolf rose. Not because of danger. Longing, recognition, the desperate urge to close the space. I can't. Isaac's hands tightened around her even while he said it. If I start this. He stopped. If I let myself. His jaw clenched. You deserve more than a king who cannot promise you safety. A king whose presence brings danger to your life. I'm already in danger, Hope said. With you or without you. It changes everything. Isaac pulled away and paced. The council already questions my judgment. If they think you and I... He stopped. They'll claim you compromised me. They'll say you're controlling me through the mate bond. Hope stopped breathing. The what? Isaac froze. He had said too much. When he looked at Hope again, the mask was gone. You feel it too. His voice was quiet. Don't tell me you don't. That pull, that recognition. Hope's heartbeat thundered. From the first moment I saw you in the shrine, my wolf has been telling me you are mine. Isaac's voice became rougher. And every day since, it has become stronger. Hope stared at him. But we can't. A bitter smile crossed his face. No, we can't. I'm a king. You're responsible for 3 royal heirs. The council would destroy you if they believed you used a mate bond to influence me. He knelt again. So we ignore it. Hope's chest hurt. We pretend it isn't there. We choose responsibility instead of desire. Hope heard herself answer before she could reconsider. What if I'm tired of choosing what everyone else calls right? Isaac's eyes darkened. What if right means being alone? Hope. What if I don't want to ignore it? Don't say that. His breathing changed. Not while I'm already barely controlling myself. Then stop controlling it. Hope placed her hand against his cheek. I spent my whole life being told to know my place. To accept less. To be grateful for scraps. Her voice trembled. Maybe this is impossible. Maybe choosing each other creates problems neither of us knows how to solve. She looked into his eyes. But for once, I want to choose something because I want it. Her thumb moved over his skin. I want to choose you. Isaac looked tortured. Duty battled desire across his face. Then something changed. Decision. Hope. A knock interrupted them. Carrie called from outside. Food for the pups, and both of you need to eat. The moment shattered. Isaac stood. He accepted the supplies. When he returned, his king's mask had settled firmly into place. You should sleep. He avoided her eyes. I'll take the chair. Isaac, please. His voice broke slightly. Just rest. Hope did. The pups remained warm against her as exhaustion dragged her toward sleep. Isaac moved around the tent, arranging his chair, controlling the fire, doing everything possible not to look at Hope. Then, just before sleep took her, Hope heard him whisper, "You're already mine." A pause. That's the problem. Hope woke beneath pale morning light. Isaac's chair was empty. Panic hit before she checked the pups. Safe. Breathing. Still with her. But Isaac's absence hurt. A note rested nearby. Had to meet the scouts about the attack. Carrie will bring breakfast. Do not leave the tent. I mean it. Hope stared at the distant, controlled words. Last night he had admitted the mate bond. This morning he was building walls again. Maybe he was right. Maybe they were too dangerous together. Carrie arrived with breakfast. How's the patient? Confused. Hope shifted carefully. Sore. but alive. All positive signs. Carrie set out porridge, fruit, bread, and tea. Eat. Hope noticed Carrie's serious expression. What happened? Carrie sat. I learned something this morning. Isaac doesn't know yet. Hope immediately tensed. What? Carrie removed a piece of dark fabric. A symbol had been stitched into it. A twisted spiral surrounding a crescent moon. We found this on a cloak left by one of the assassins. Hope's skin crawled. What is it? The mark of the Shadow Court. Hope waited. A faction that rejected the goddess's laws centuries ago. Carrie's voice lowered. They follow power created through blood sacrifice and dark rituals. We believed they had been destroyed. Obviously, we were wrong. Hope held the pups more tightly. Why do they want them? Royal blood carries power. Carrie looked at the triplets. Triplet royal blood carries even more. If the Shadow Court is rebuilding, sacrificing these three could give them enough power to challenge everything the goddess represents. Hope felt sick. Does Isaac know? He will. Carrie stood. But there's more. Hope's heart sank. They want you too. Because of the bond. As long as you're alive and connected to those pups, they cannot use them in the ritual. Hope slowly understood. So I'm not only protecting them. No. Carrie looked directly at her. You are their shield. And the Shadow Court will keep coming until either you're dead. Carrie did not finish. Hope finished for her. Or they are. Carrie nodded. Isaac is going to lose what remains of his self-control when he hears this. Hope remembered the night before. The mate bond. The way Isaac had looked at her. What am I supposed to do? Train. Carrie headed toward the entrance. Become stronger. Learn your power. Then she glanced back. And when Isaac inevitably decides the best solution is wrapping you in guards and never letting you move again, fight him. Hope almost smiled. He needs you capable. The pups need that too. Carrie left. Hope fed the pups. Her hands shook. I won't let anyone hurt you. She touched each small head. Whatever I have to become. Whatever it costs. I won't let them take you. The white-patched female stared up with solemn golden eyes. For an irrational moment, Hope thought all three understood. Soon after they finished feeding, the entrance burst open. Isaac stood there, breathing hard, eyes blazing. I know. Hope did not need to ask. I know about the Shadow Court. He crossed the room. I know what they want. And I know Carrie probably told you I'm barely holding myself together. He knelt beside Hope. She's right. Isaac framed Hope's face. Every instinct I have is screaming at me to take you and those pups somewhere no one can find you. To hide you. To keep everything in the world away. His expression twisted. But I can't. Because hiding you will not prepare you for what's coming. Hope touched his wrists. So what do? We train. Isaac's forehead touched hers. We prepare. We make you strong enough that the Shadow Court regrets ever learning your name. Then his eyes changed. And we stop pretending this bond between us does not exist. Hope's breath stopped. If we are going to war together, I need you to know where I stand. His voice lowered. Not only as your king. As your mate. Hope stared. The council can go to hell. Isaac's voice was fierce. I'm finished choosing duty over you. Finished acting as if I don't feel this. Finished being the perfect king, if perfection means denying what my wolf and my heart already know. Hope covered his hands with hers. Are you sure? I have never been more certain. His gaze held hers. You are my mate, Hope Horn. And if you will have me, I claim you here and now. Hope remembered every rejection, every insult, every year of being told she was not enough. Then she looked at this impossible man offering himself without shame. Yes. Isaac barely breathed. Yes. Hope smiled through tears. I'll have you. His smile transformed him. Then he kissed her. The mate bond snapped into place. Silver light exploded around Hope. Golden alpha power rose from Isaac. The two colors twisted together. The pups stirred. A soft, satisfied sound came from the sling. Hope felt complete. When the kiss finally ended, Isaac rested his forehead against hers. We survived this together. All of us. For the first time, Hope believed him. Chapter 7. Truth Laid Bare. The completed mate bond changed everything. Hope could feel Isaac constantly. A golden thread connected them, his emotions, his general location. Even the rhythm of his heartbeat when she concentrated. Isaac could feel her too. It was beautiful. It was also dangerous. 3 hours after the bond formed, Carrie appeared. The council is demanding another audience. Hope groaned. Willa knows. The entire camp knows. Carrie crossed her arms. That much magical energy is difficult to hide. Hope looked at Isaac. How angry is she? She calls the bond proof of manipulation. Carrie's expression hardened. She claims you forced it, that you used dark magic to control Isaac. That's ridiculous. I already told her, Isaac said. His voice held cold fury. She isn't interested in truth. She's interested in maintaining a system that gives the council power. Isaac looked at Hope. A king bonded to an Omega challenges that system. So what do? We face them. Isaac took Hope's hand. Together. His expression grew serious. They will say terrible things. They may even call for my removal. Hope's heart tightened. I can't let you lose your crown because of me. You aren't taking anything from me. His grip strengthened. I chose you, and I will accept what comes with that choice. The council assembled beneath the open sky. Hundreds of wolves gathered to witness. Hope walked beside Isaac with the pups secured against her. Eyes tracked every movement. The 7 council members sat in a semicircle. Willa occupied the center. Alpha King Isaac Bowman. Her voice carried across the gathering. You stand accused of compromising your position through an unnatural mate bond formed under suspicious circumstances. How do you answer? Isaac did not flinch. There is nothing unnatural about a mate bond. The only suspicious thing here is your refusal to accept something the goddess herself ordained. Murmurs rose. Stay unnoticed, stay silent, an older councilman spoke. Craig Stevens. The goddess does not create bonds between kings and omegas. It violates the natural order. Centuries of tradition. Then perhaps the tradition is wrong, Hope said. The crowd turned. Hope's instinct told her to shrink. She refused. With respect, Elder Stevens, the goddess chose me to bond with royal heirs. She chose me to awaken the shrine. She chose me to carry the silver flame. Hope looked directly at him. Are you suggesting she made a mistake? Craig's face reddened. You dare. I dare question anyone who values tradition more than the goddess. Silver light flickered around Hope's fingertips. You call my bond unnatural. Hope placed one hand against her chest. I felt it become whole. I felt the goddess's approval. So either she blessed it. Hope held his gaze. Or you are questioning her judgment. Silence followed. Willa eventually broke it. Pretty words. Her voice was cold. But words prove nothing. Isaac stiffened. Willa stood. We demand a trial of clarity. Isaac's expression darkened. You cannot be serious. I am. Willa's smile was sharp. If the bond is genuine, Hope has nothing to fear. The trial of clarity uses ancient magic to separate truth from deception. If she is innocent, it will prove her innocence. And if not? Willa looked at Hope. The bond will be severed. Hope went cold. And she will be exiled from every northern territory. Stories about severed mate bonds were horrifying. Wolves sometimes survived. They were rarely whole afterward. I won't allow it, Isaac said. You have no choice. Willa looked at the council. All in favor? 6 hands rose. Only one remained down. A younger councilwoman, Gina Valentine. The council has spoken, Willa announced. The trial takes place at sunset. Until then, Hope Horn remains confined. Gina stood. This is wrong. Everyone looked at her. You're punishing her for being what the goddess created. We are protecting the integrity of our king. Willa's stare became hard. Unless Councilwoman Valentine wishes to join Hope in confinement. Gina fell silent. But when she looked at Hope, there was sympathy in her eyes. Maybe even support. Isaac looked ready to reject the council entirely. Hope squeezed his hand. It's okay. It isn't. I have nothing to hide. Hope raised her voice so everyone could hear. I trust the goddess. I trust that the truth will be revealed. Then she faced the council. And when this trial proves I did nothing wrong, I expect all of you to remember how quickly you condemned me without evidence. Hope stepped forward. I submit. She looked at Willa. But when I'm proven innocent, I expect an apology. Something flashed in Willa's eyes. We'll see. Hope was confined again. This time in a smaller tent near the edge of camp. 2 guards stood outside. The pups sensed her anxiety. Hope rocked them. It's all right. She wished she believed herself. The hours dragged. She fed them, changed them, sang to them. Through the mate bond, she could feel Isaac somewhere nearby. Furious. Protective. Then Carrie came with food. Hope could not eat. Carrie sat close. You need to know what this trial actually does. Hope looked at her. It reveals lies. More than that. Carrie lowered her voice. It strips away your defenses, your memories, your fears, your secrets. Everything becomes visible. Hope's arms tightened around the pups. Everything? Everything. Carrie's expression softened. Clearwater. The abuse. Your rejection. Every painful memory. Hope felt ill. Isaac would see it all. Every moment she had hidden. Every humiliation. Every time she had believed herself worthless. I don't have a choice. You do. Carrie gripped Hope's shoulder. The trial reveals truth. But it also reveals the truth you believe about yourself. Hope frowned. If you enter believing Clearwater was right, if you believe you're broken and unworthy of Isaac, then that becomes part of what everyone sees. Carrie leaned closer. But if you go in knowing your worth, knowing those pups chose you, knowing Isaac chose you, knowing the goddess marked you, then they see that. Hope's eyes burned. How do I stop believing 23 years of lies? You don't erase them in one day. Carrie's smile was sad. You believe something stronger. The pups. Isaac. The goddess. She squeezed Hope's shoulder. And maybe, for the first time, yourself. Carrie left. Hope closed her eyes. She reached for the silver flame. The pups' bond. Isaac's golden thread. She remembered everything that had happened since the storm. Maybe Carrie was right. Maybe Hope had never been worthless. Maybe Clearwater's rejection had revealed something about Clearwater. Not Hope. Maybe she had always been who she was supposed to become. The guards came at sunset. 7 pillars surrounded the trial ground. Ancient symbols glowed across them. A crystal basin stood at the center. The water inside shimmered unnaturally. Hundreds watched. Willa stood beside the basin. Hope Horn, step forward. Hope entered with the pups. No one would separate them. The trial requires contact with the sacred water. Willa indicated the basin. Once you touch it, every truth becomes visible. No hiding. No deception. No manipulation. Hope nodded. I understand. Isaac pushed toward the circle. Guards stopped him at the boundary, but Hope felt him through the bond. I'm here. His voice appeared inside her mind. Hope's eyes widened. They could communicate. No matter what they see, I am with you. Hope answered silently. I know. Then, before fear stopped her, I love you. Shock flashed through the bond. Then fierce joy. I love you too. Isaac looked directly at her. Now show them who you are. Hope plunged both hands into the basin. The world exploded. She was 5 again, watching her parents die during a raid. Then Clearwater taking her in because law demanded it, not love. Hope saw herself growing up unwanted, invisible, a burden, Omega, worthless. The memories appeared above the basin for everyone to witness. The crowd gasped. Hope did not turn away. She saw herself at 13, trying to shift, failing, other young wolves laughing, broken. She saw herself alone in the forest, begging the goddess to make her normal. Then the memories changed. Hope at 23, running through a storm, finding 3 helpless pups, choosing them even when that choice endangered her own life. The shrine, the bond, the silver flame, and beneath all of it, Hope saw another truth. Every rejection had shaped her. Every year of surviving cruelty had made her capable of enduring what came next. The memories continued. The assassins, the council, Isaac, the mate bond. One truth burned brighter than everything else. Hope had not been broken. She had been becoming. Silver and golden light filled the basin. The pillars ignited. Hope felt the goddess around her. Then the vision changed unexpectedly. Elder Willa appeared, decades younger. Standing in this same circle, facing her own trial. And Hope saw what Willa had hidden for 50 years. Willa herself was half Omega. She had denied that part of herself for decades, buried it, hated it, and redirected that hatred toward other Omegas. Shock exploded through the crowd. Willa's face became white. No! But ancient truth magic did not lie. Everyone had seen. Hope removed her hands. The visions faded. She looked at Willa. You built your power by rejecting what you are. Hope's voice was calm. I found mine by accepting what I am. A pause. That's the difference between us. Gina Valentine stepped forward. The trial of clarity has spoken. Her voice carried clearly. Hope Horn is innocent. Her bond is genuine. Her power bears the goddess's blessing. Gina faced the crowd. Anyone who continues questioning her right to stand beside our king is questioning the goddess herself. The crowd reacted unevenly. Some nodded. Some looked shaken. Some remained uncertain. But the trial had revealed truth. Hope belonged. Isaac reached her and pulled her carefully into his arms. You're incredible. He kissed her hair. Absolutely incredible. Hope's attention remained on Willa. The elder stood beside the basin as the identity she had built over 50 years collapsed around her. Elder Willa. Willa looked up. I won't use your secret against you. Surprise crossed her face. Hope continued. But remember this, the next time you judge someone for being exactly what they were born to be. Everyone understood what Hope had done. Mercy. Willa held her gaze for a long moment, then nodded once. She turned and walked through the crowd with her head raised. Hope could have humiliated her. Instead, she allowed Willa to leave with dignity. It was power without cruelty, and the council noticed. That night, the celebration was cautious but real. Wolves who had doubted Hope approached respectfully. Gina publicly declared her support. Craig Stevens reluctantly admitted that the trial had proven Hope innocent. But Hope felt something through the mate bond. Isaac was uneasy. Later, after the pups slept, they returned to his quarters. The scouts found something. Hope immediately tensed. Evidence that the Shadow Court has been operating inside the territories for months. Isaac placed a parchment on the table. They have wolves inside our packs. Spies? Yes. Hope's blood chilled. We found this near the path the assassins used. Isaac pointed to a list. Targets. Hope read. The pups. Hope. Isaac. They're coming again? Not merely coming. Isaac's eyes met hers. They're planning an assault. He moved closer. They intend to attack during the new moon, when shadow magic is strongest. His hands framed Hope's face. This is what we've been preparing for. The real battle. And I need you ready. Hope lifted her chin. I am ready. Isaac smiled fiercely. I know. But tomorrow we go to the archive. We unlock everything you can do. He touched his forehead to hers. Because when the shadow court comes for you and those pups, his wolf flashed behind his eyes, I need you capable of burning them to ash. The silver flame flared inside Hope. Then let them burn. Isaac's answering smile was feral. Chapter 8. When the flame ignites. Dawn came cold and clear. Hope stood in the center of the archive of First Mothers. The pups were secure against her. Isaac walked along the perimeter, studying the carvings. They had arrived before sunrise. Carrie remained in charge of camp, while 12 trusted warriors guarded the archive. This place holds more than prophecies, Isaac explained. It was also used for training. Our ancestors learned to channel their gifts here. He stopped before the largest pillar. Spiraling flames covered its surface. This one belongs to the flame bearers. Hope approached. The carvings brightened as she came near. What do I do? Touch it. Isaac watched closely. Let it show you. Hope placed both palms against the stone. The world vanished. She stood inside endless silver fire. The flames were not destructive. They felt alive, ancient, conscious. Women appeared inside them. Dozens. Perhaps hundreds. Stretching back through centuries. Every one marked by the goddess. Every one carrying the silver flame. Welcome, sister. Their voices blended. You have awakened. Now you must learn to burn. I don't know how. Hope looked at them. I can barely control what I have. Because you fear it. One woman moved closer. Silver hair. Eyes like molten gold. You fear power because you spent your life powerless. But what if it consumes me? Power is not something you fear. It is something you claim. Something you trust. I don't know if I can. Then let us show you. Silver fire surged. Knowledge poured into Hope. Not merely words. Instinct. Memory. Movement. Centuries of experience. How to summon the flame. How to shape it. How to allow it through her body without destroying herself. She understood more clearly how the pups strengthened her, and finally understood that the silver flame was more than a shield. It could transform, create, forge new paths, destroy falsehood, break old chains. The ancient woman looked at Hope. You are not merely a shield, little sister. Her eyes burned. You are a sword, and it is time you remembered how to cut. The vision released her. Hope stumbled. Isaac caught her. What happened? They showed me. Hope stared at her glowing hands. The flame bearers. I can feel it now. She looked at Isaac. The power isn't something inside me. It is me. Can you control it? Hope smiled. Watch. She stepped back. The silver flame answered immediately. Fire poured from her hands. Controlled. Precise. Hope shaped it into a sphere, then a blade, then a wall 20 feet high. With one breath, she dissolved it into sparks. Isaac stared. Goddess above. His voice had become rough. You're magnificent. I'm ready. Hope truly believed it. When they come, I'll be ready. Isaac pulled her close. They're going to regret targeting you. They already should. Hope kissed him, then stepped back. Teach me to fight. Really fight. Her expression hardened. I'm done being prey. They trained throughout the day. By midday, Hope could combine a partial shift with the silver flame. By afternoon, she could move while maintaining a defensive barrier. By evening, she could deliver focused strikes powerful enough to incapacitate, or, if necessary, kill. Isaac stood opposite her. Again. Hope raised her hands. This time don't hold back. Isaac, I could hurt you. You won't. His eyes held hers. Trust your control. Hope gathered everything. Silver power built inside her. Then she released it at Isaac. He shifted during the charge. Golden alpha power met silver fire. The collision shook the ground. Dust filled the clearing. When it cleared, both were still standing, breathing hard, smiling like predators. Perfect, Isaac said. That's what you need. They returned to camp after dark. Hope knew something was wrong immediately. Warriors stood ready. Weapons drawn. Carrie met them. We caught a spy. Isaac went still. One of ours? Yes. Sending messages beyond the camp. Who? Carrie looked at Hope. Glenn Mackenzie. Hope froze. The Clearwater Beta. The man who had hunted her through the forest. He has been feeding them information. Carrie's expression hardened. Your schedules. Troop positions. Hope's training. Everything. Isaac's power rolled outward. Where is he? Holding tent. Carrie hesitated. But there's more. Isaac's eyes narrowed. We found evidence of at least 2 other collaborators. We still don't know who they are. Hope forced herself to breathe. When are they attacking? Tonight. Gina Valentine approached with 2 warriors. I've been investigating since the trial. She looked toward Isaac. Glenn confirmed the Shadow Court is gathering approximately 3 miles north. The new moon peaks tonight. They attack at midnight. How many? At least 50. Gina's jaw tightened. Possibly more. All trained. And Glenn mentioned something else. What? He refused to explain. She frowned. But whatever they're bringing terrified him. Isaac immediately looked toward camp. Evacuate civilians south. No. Everyone turned toward Hope. Isaac frowned. We cannot run. Hope's voice remained calm. They'll follow. They'll hunt us until they get the pups. She looked toward the forest. We fight here. At the archive. That's where ancient magic is strongest. Isaac's expression hardened. You want to use yourself as bait. I want to finish this. Hope's voice became steel. They want me. They want the pups. She touched the sling. Then let them come. Let them face the silver flame on sacred ground. Her eyes burned. And let them discover what happens when they threaten what belongs to me. Isaac studied her. The woman standing before him was not the frightened Omega who had run through the rain less than a week earlier. Hope had claimed herself. Finally, Isaac nodded. We fight. But intelligently. He began issuing orders. Hope and the pups remain at the archive center. Our strongest warriors surround them. I lead the outer defense. Carrie coordinates healers. Gina holds the western approach. Carrie frowned. And the unidentified spies? We trust no one outside this group. Isaac looked at each of them. If someone acts suspiciously during battle, take them down. We determine innocence after we survive. The remaining hours passed quickly. Weapons were prepared. Defensive lines formed. Civilians were moved into the safest section of camp. Hope waited at the archive. The pups slept against her. Just before midnight, Isaac came to her wearing armor. His eyes glowed with alpha power. Promise me something. Hope felt fear through their bond. Anything. If you have to choose between saving me and saving yourself with those pups. Hope immediately shook her head. Isaac. He placed a finger against her lips. Choose yourself. The pups need you. The territories need you. His voice broke slightly. And if I fall, I need to know you'll keep fighting. Tears filled Hope's eyes. You aren't allowed to die. Promise. Hope swallowed. I promise. Then she gripped his armor. But listen to me. You are not dying tonight. We are going to win. We are going to raise these pups. We are going to build something beautiful after all of this." Her voice shook. "So you do not get to sacrifice yourself." Isaac's smile was sad and fierce. "I'll do everything I can." He kissed her. Deep, desperate. Through their bond flowed everything they could not say. Love, fear, pride, hope. When they separated, both had tears in their eyes. "I love you," Isaac whispered. "I love you too." Hope touched his face. "Go lead your warriors." She lifted one glowing hand. "I'll burn anything that reaches us." Isaac left. 20 elite warriors formed rings around Hope. Midnight approached. The forest became unnaturally silent. Hope could feel dark magic pressing against the archive's wards. Then the attack began. Shadow wolves came from every direction. Black fur, red, corrupted eyes. Behind them ran masked fighters carrying poisoned weapons, and in their center walked a woman, tall, ancient. Dark power surrounded her so heavily that Hope's skin crawled. Her robes were covered in painful symbols. A blade made from something resembling solid shadow rested in her hand. The flame bearer. The woman's voice crossed the battlefield. "How delightful. The goddess's little weapon is standing exactly where we wanted her." Hope raised silver fire. "Who are you?" "I am Reba Middleton." She smiled, revealing sharpened teeth. "High priestess of the Shadow Court." Her gaze dropped toward the pups. "And you, little Omega, are going to give me those children." "Willingly." She lifted the blade. "Or after I remove them from your corpse." Hope let the silver flame explode around her. Option 3. Reba's smile vanished. "You die trying." Reba attacked. Shadow magic crashed into Hope's barrier. Dark tendrils twisted against silver fire. Hope held. The pups woke. But they did not cry. Their power joined hers. 3 small flames strengthening one large flame. Around them, the battle raged. Isaac and his wolves tore through shadow creatures. Carrie fought with precise, devastating efficiency. Gina's forces held the western side. But Reba was unlike anyone Hope had faced. Every attack Hope launched was deflected. Every defense she built eventually cracked. Light and darkness collided again and again. "You're strong," Reba admitted. "Stronger than the last flame bearer we killed." Hope's blood chilled. "But you're inexperienced." Reba smiled. "And desperation makes you careless." Hope hated that she was right. Her strength was fading. The pups were tiring. Warriors around Hope were being injured. They were being overwhelmed. Number. Hope refused. She had not survived Clearwater. The hunt. The council. The assassins. Everything. Only to die now. Hope closed her eyes. She reached deeper, past her familiar control, past the pups, past even Isaac's bond, toward the source. Toward the divine spark that had existed inside her since the blood moon. "I am Hope Horn, Omega, warrior, protector, destroyer, wounded, whole. I am exactly what the goddess created, and I claim all of it." The silver flame detonated. Radiant power swept across the battlefield. Shadow creatures vanished upon contact. Dark spells shattered. Every wolf, enemy and ally, fell beneath the pressure of something divine. Hope opened her eyes. Silver fire burned within them. The accumulated power of every flame bearer moved through her. "You wanted the silver flame?" Her voice echoed unnaturally. Reba stared. Hope raised both hands. "Here I am." Pillars of silver fire erupted around Reba. The priestess attacked the cage. Nothing moved. "Your goddess is a shadow," Hope said. She walked closer. "Mine is eternal." Silver fire poured from her hands. It did not burn Reba's flesh. It stripped away corruption. Dark magic. Decades of stolen power, Reba screamed. When the silver light faded, an exhausted old woman knelt in the dirt. Hope looked down. Run. Reba stared. Run back to whatever remains of your court. Hope's eyes blazed. Tell them what you saw tonight. Tell them the silver flame is awake. Her voice became absolute. Tell them their time is over. Reba fled. The surviving Shadow Court fighters followed. The battle ended. Hope's divine power slowly receded. Her knees hit the ground. The pups were crying again. Exhausted, but alive. Around Hope, Isaac's warriors stood bruised and bloodied. Alive, victorious. Isaac reached her. His hands searched frantically for injuries. I'm okay. Hope could barely speak. We're okay. She gave him a weak smile. We won. You won. Isaac pulled her into his arms. You magnificent. His voice broke. Terrifying woman. Hope almost laughed. I told you I was ready. Then the world disappeared. Chapter 9. Crowned in silver light. Sunlight woke Hope. For several seconds, she remembered nothing. Then the battle returned all at once. Reba. The Shadow Court. Divine fire. Hope sat up. She expected agony. Instead, she felt only profound exhaustion. Carrie sat nearby with a book. Easy. She immediately checked Hope. You've been unconscious for 2 days. 2 days? Hope looked toward the pups. They slept peacefully inside a basket. They're fine. Carrie smiled. Fed every few hours. Isaac would only let me or Gina touch them. Hope looked toward the entrance. He's been unbearable waiting for you to wake. As if summoned, Isaac rushed inside. His clothes were rumpled. His hair looked wild. Dark exhaustion marked his face. Then he saw Hope. Awake, something broke in his expression. Thank the goddess. He crossed the room and pulled her into his arms. His body shook. When you collapsed, he could barely speak. When you wouldn't wake. I'm okay. Hope pressed against him. His scent wrapped around her. Pine. Smoke. Home. How many did we lose? Isaac pulled back. 17 injured. Hope held her breath. None critically. His eyes softened. 0 deaths. Hope nearly sagged. Because you ended it before they could cause more damage. We did it together. Hope looked at Carrie. I could never have done that alone. Carrie cleared her throat. I'm leaving before this becomes unbearably sentimental. She pointed at Hope. Eat. Then Isaac. Sleep. I'm staying. Carrie rolled her eyes. Then sleep here. She left. Silence settled. Isaac took Hope's hand. I was terrified. His voice was quiet. When you released that much power, you were so bright I could barely look at you. He swallowed. I thought you were going to burn yourself away. I almost did. Hope squeezed his hand. The flame bearers taught me to channel it. But a mortal body isn't meant to hold that much divine power for long. She looked toward the pups. I would do it again. I know. Isaac smiled sadly. That's what frightens me. You're brave enough to do dangerous things because they're necessary. Hope touched his face. Then be brave with me. What? Stand beside me. Trust me to survive. Isaac frowned slightly. The Shadow Court is broken. Reba fled. We captured 4 lieutenants. The immediate threat is over. I don't mean them. Hope sat more fully upright. I mean what comes next. She counted softly. The territories accepting an Omega as the king's mate. The council learning to live with a power they don't understand. The pups growing up in a world that tried to murder them before they could speak. Hope looked at Isaac. And us. We barely had time to become mates before going to war. Isaac traced her palm with his thumb. The council wants a formal recognition ceremony. Hope blinked. Gina believes publicly acknowledging you as my mate and the pup's guardian will protect your position. What do you think? Isaac looked at her. I think a ceremony doesn't determine whether you're mine. The mate bond already did that. His expression softened. But I also think you deserve to be honored. Hope said nothing. To stand in front of the territories, Isaac continued, and be recognized for what you are to me. To them. He leaned closer. Let me give you one moment where you aren't running. Where you aren't fighting. Where you aren't barely surviving. His thumb wiped moisture from beneath her eye. One moment where you can simply be loved. Publicly. Completely. Without apology. Hope could hardly breathe. After a lifetime of invisibility, the idea almost overwhelmed her. Okay. Isaac smiled. Yes? Yes. The ceremony will be in 3 days. His expression became mischievous. Enough time for you to recover. And for you to meet someone. The tent opened. A young woman entered. Perhaps 25. Long dark hair. Golden eyes identical to the pups. Her gaze immediately found the basket. Hope, Isaac said. This is Jennifer O'Donnell. Amalia's sister. Hope's breath caught. The pup's aunt. Jennifer approached the basket. When she saw them, tears immediately filled her eyes. They're alive. Her laugh turned into a sob. After 6 months. She looked at Hope. You saved them. You protected my sister's children. Hope struggled for words. I did what anyone would have done. No. Jennifer shook her head. Not anyone. She looked between Hope and the pups. I can feel your bond from here. It's as strong as blood. Maybe stronger. Jennifer knelt beside Hope. I came expecting to take them home. Hope's heart tightened. I thought I would raise them the way Amalia would have wanted. She smiled through tears. But they already have a home. With you. You're their family, Hope said quickly. Their blood. You're their mother. Hope fell silent. In every way that matters. Jennifer took her hand. You protected them. You fought for them. You nearly died for them. Her voice softened. My sister would have loved you. Tears spilled down Hope's face. I'm not trying to replace her. I never could. I know. Jennifer squeezed her fingers. You are not replacing Amalia. You're honoring her. You are loving her children in the place where she no longer can. She looked at Isaac, then Hope. I'm not here to take them. Relief hit so hard, Hope nearly cried harder. I'm asking whether I can be part of their lives. As their aunt? Yes. Hope answered immediately. Yes. They should know you. They should know their family. Jennifer smiled. And they should know the woman who loved them before she even knew their names. The pups woke. Jennifer looked at the white-patched female. May I? Hope nodded. Jennifer carefully picked her up. Hello, little one. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I'm Aunt Jennifer. I've been searching for you for so long. The pup studied her. Then placed one tiny paw against Jennifer's face. Jennifer sobbed. They spent the next hour talking. Jennifer told Hope about Amalia, her art, her laughter, her dreams for the triplets, her dreams for the triplets. She painted their nursery before they were born. Jennifer smiled sadly. 3 wolves running beneath the moon, one with a white chest, one dark as shadow, one with silver markings. Hope looked toward the pups. She painted them exactly? Months before their birth. Jennifer nodded. She said the goddess showed them to her in a dream. Jennifer looked at Hope. Maybe she knew someone would come. Someone who would protect them when she couldn't. The words settled inside Hope. She had not stolen Amalia's place. She had continued what Amalia had begun. A bridge between what had been lost and what could still remain. When Jennifer left, promising to return for the ceremony, Hope felt peace. Over the next 2 days, the camp recovered. Borders were reinforced. Warriors healed. The captured Shadow Court members revealed other cells. Isaac's forces dismantled them. Glenn Mackenzie and the other discovered collaborators were tried and exiled. On the second day, Willa requested a private meeting with Hope. They sat inside Isaac's quarters. For a while, neither spoke. Then Willa said, "I owe you an apology." Hope waited. "I allowed my fear and self-hatred to control my judgment." Willa's hands tightened. "I saw in you everything I had spent my life hiding, and I tried to destroy you because of it." "You were protecting yourself," Hope said. "I understand. That doesn't excuse me." Willa looked at her. "I forced you into the trial of clarity, knowing your most painful memories would be exposed. I confined you while assassins were searching for you. I tried to sever the bond that gives you strength." Her eyes shone. "And after all that, you gave me mercy." Hope leaned forward. "Destroying you would not have repaired anything. It would only continue the same cycle of shame and rejection that hurt both of us." Willa looked away. "You don't have to hide anymore." Hope's voice softened. "You can accept what you are." Willa whispered, "I don't know how." "Learn." Hope smiled. "One day. One choice. Start with being honest." Willa looked uncertain. "And if the council rejects me? Then they're hypocrites who don't deserve your leadership." Hope spoke firmly. "But I don't think they will. The people who matter will accept you, and anyone who cannot." Hope shrugged. Maybe they were never worth keeping. Willa stood. For the first time, she looked less rigid, less armored. "Thank you." Hope looked up. "For showing me what courage actually is." After Willa left, Isaac entered. "You were very generous." "Or very naive." Hope smiled. "We'll find out." Isaac kissed her forehead. "You're changing the world one stubborn elder at a time." The morning of the ceremony was clear. Hope stood before a silver dress Carrie and Jennifer had chosen. Intricate embroidery caught the light like flames. Hope had never worn anything like it. It belonged to someone important, someone valued, someone loved. "You're going to look beautiful," Jennifer said. Amalia would have loved this. The pups wore matching ceremonial wraps. They seemed unusually calm. When Hope stepped outside, Isaac waited in formal black and gold armor. He looked every inch the Alpha King. Then he saw her. His expression changed completely. Through the bond, Hope felt his love strike her like a wave. "You're stunning. I'm terrified." Isaac offered his arm. "Then we'll be terrified together." Hope thought of the woman who had run through the storm less than 2 weeks earlier. Then of everything that followed. She took his arm. "I'm ready." The ceremony took place at the archive. Hundreds attended from across the Northern Territories. They had come to see the Omega who had defeated the Shadow Court, and to witness whatever new order came afterward. Willa stood at the center. "We gather to witness a sacred bond." Her voice was strong. "To acknowledge what the goddess herself ordained." She looked at Hope. No hatred remained. "Hope Horn. Step forward." Hope obeyed. "You came to us rejected. An outcast. Declared powerless by those who should have protected you." Willa's voice carried through the clearing. "But the goddess saw what others refused to see. The strength inside your gentleness. The power inside your compassion. The flame waiting to awaken." She gestured toward the pups. "And she gave you a sacred responsibility. To protect the future of our people. To become guardian and mother to lives that otherwise would have been lost." Hope fought tears. Willa turned. "Alpha King Isaac Bowman, step forward and make your claim." Isaac stood beside Hope and took her hand. "I claim Hope Horn as my mate." Alpha power entered his voice. Not because she carries the silver flame. Not because she is bonded to the royal heirs, but because she is brave, fierce, and more worthy than anyone I have ever known. His eyes held hers. "Because she makes me better. Because I love her with everything I am." Silver and gold power appeared around them. Their bond, visible, permanent. Hope tightened her fingers around his. And I claim Isaac Bowman. Her voice shook at first. Not because he is king. Not because he is powerful. Not because he is perfect. A smile touched Isaac's face. But because he saw me when I was invisible. Valued me when I believed I was worthless. Chose me when he could have chosen anyone. Hope's voice strengthened. Because he is mine, and I am his. And that is enough. Willa raised her hands. Then let every witness acknowledge this truth. Hope Horn, mate to the Alpha King, mother and guardian to the royal heirs, flame-bearer of the Northern Territories. Her voice thundered. May anyone who challenges this bond answer to the goddess herself. Howls erupted. Not threatening, celebratory, accepting. Hope looked over the crowd. Wolves who had doubted her, feared her, rejected her. Now they recognized her place. She belonged. Not despite being an Omega, not despite being different, because she was all of it, wounded and whole. Gentle and fierce. Survivor and warrior. Isaac kissed her in front of everyone. Something inside Hope finally settled. She was home. The celebration continued deep into the night. Food, music, laughter. Wolves approached Hope to congratulate her. Others thanked her for defeating the Shadow Court. Isaac looked unbearably proud every time someone acknowledged her. The pups were carefully passed among trusted family and friends. Jennifer stayed near them. Under the full moon, Isaac eventually pulled Hope away from the crowd. I have something. He opened a small box. Inside was a silver pendant shaped like a flame. 3 golden stones glowed faintly within it. Hope touched it. It's beautiful. Isaac placed it around her neck. It's a reminder. Of what? That you aren't alone anymore. His hands settled on her shoulders. You have me. The pups. Jennifer. Carrie. Even Willa, in her complicated way. Isaac smiled. You built something here. A family. A future. A home. Hope touched the pendant. I never thought I could have this. I never let myself hope for it. Isaac laughed softly. I suppose you're finally living up to your name. Hope smiled. You gave all of us hope. His expression became serious. A chance to build something better than what existed before. He pulled her close. You made me believe I can be more than a king. A partner. A father to those pups. A mate worthy of you. You are worthy of me. Hope said it firmly. We're worthy of each other. Of the peace. The love. The future. Isaac smiled. Then let's build it. He kissed her slowly. One day at a time. Behind them, the celebration continued. The pups slept peacefully. Moonlight covered the archive, and Hope stood at the center of a life she had once believed impossible. Omega. Flame-bearer. Mate. Mother. Warrior. Finally certain that she was exactly where she belonged. Chapter 10. The Epilogue. 6 months later, spring covered the Northern Territories. Hope stood beside the training grounds while 3 growing wolf pups chased one another through the sunlight. They were larger now, stronger, far more coordinated. The white-patched female had been named Luna. She already behaved like a leader, organizing her brothers into whatever elaborate game entered her mind. The dark gray male was Shadow, cautious, thoughtful, always calculating. The silver-marked male was Sterling, fearless, curious, constantly testing boundaries. They were perfect, and they were Hope's. They're getting faster, Jennifer said. She joined Hope with 2 cups of tea. Luna nearly caught a rabbit yesterday. Shadow probably would have caught it if he were willing to take more risks. Hope accepted the tea. And Sterling would have caught it if he hadn't stopped chasing a butterfly. Jennifer laughed. Hope looked at her. Thank you. For what? For staying. For helping me raise them. Jennifer smiled. Where else would I be? She looked toward the pups. They're my family. Then she looked at Hope. You're my family. This is home. Home. 6 months ago, Hope had none. Now she had a territory. A mate. 3 growing pups. A sister by choice. Friends. People who cared whether she lived. The training grounds had become Hope's project, not only for the pups. For Omegas. Wolves who had been taught they were too weak to fight, too broken to shift properly, too unimportant to matter. Hope had begun teaching them 3 months earlier. Hope! A young Omega named Addie Hannah waved from across the field. I did it. Hope smiled. What? I held my partial shift for 5 minutes. That's incredible. Hope waved her closer. Show me during evening practice. Addie beamed and ran back to her partner. Jennifer watched. You're changing lives. Everyone's changing. Hope shook her head. I didn't do it alone. Jennifer laughed. You faced the shadow court with divine fire. Learn to accept a compliment. Before Hope could answer, she felt Isaac through their bond, approaching from the east. Content. Aware of her. Always. Moments later, a magnificent black wolf emerged with a hunting party. Isaac shifted as he approached. Hope still loved watching him transform. Controlled power. Grace. Strength. Good hunt? Very. Isaac immediately pulled her into his arms. He kissed her forehead, her cheek, then her lips. Enough meat for camp for 3 days. His smile became suspicious. And I brought you something. He produced a wild pink rose. Hope stared. The simple gesture squeezed her heart harder than jewels ever could. You're ridiculous. I'm in love. Isaac grinned. There's a difference. The pups noticed him. All 3 abandoned their game and charged. Isaac crouched. He was immediately overwhelmed by paws, tails, and excited yips. Hope laughed as the alpha king of the Northern Territories was nearly buried beneath 3 enthusiastic pups. They're getting stronger, Isaac said while attempting to remove Sterling from his hair. Luna tried to take down a deer last week. She failed spectacularly. Hope smiled, but the attempt was impressive. That's my girl. Isaac finally stood. Sterling continued attempting to climb him. Fearless like her mother. Mother. The word still stopped Hope sometimes. Mother to 3 royal heirs. Mate to the Alpha King. Flame bearer. Teacher. Warrior. Things the young Omega in Clearwater would never have imagined. I've been thinking, Isaac said as they walked toward the main compound. The pups raced ahead. Jennifer followed. About expanding your training. Hope looked at him. How? Make it official. A school. Hope stopped. A school. For Omegas from every territory. Isaac's arm settled around her waist. A place where they learn they are more than tradition says. The council would. The council listens when the flame bearer speaks. Isaac smiled. Especially after she saved their lives. Hope laughed. But more importantly, it's right. You proved power isn't determined only by blood or rank. It can be courage, choice, the refusal to live beneath someone else's limits. Hope imagined it. A school. Dozens of Omegas learning to shift, to fight, to use what they were taught to suppress. Her eyes brightened. We could change everything. We already changed everything. Isaac kissed her temple. But yes, let's change more. Carrie and Gina waited at the compound. Gina had become one of Hope's strongest council allies. There you are, she said. We need to discuss the Western proposal. Hope groaned playfully. What proposal now? 3 packs have requested membership in the Northern Alliance. Hope blinked. 3? Last week there was only 1. Word spreads. Gina looked pleased. Omegas talk. They've heard there's a territory where they're valued, where they aren't forced into invisible support roles. They want that. Their alphas are beginning to understand that empowered pack members strengthen the entire pack. Carrie added dryly, Or they're terrified of looking backward while the strongest wolf across 5 territories is an Omega capable of summoning divine fire. Hope laughed. I'm not that frightening. You absolutely are. Carrie, Gina, and Jennifer answered together. The afternoon disappeared into planning, alliance treaties, expansion, the logistics of building a school. Willa arrived carrying architectural plans. She no longer hid being half Omega. During a quiet moment, she approached Hope. I've been thinking about what you told me. Hope looked up. About freedom. Willa placed the plans down. About accepting myself. She hesitated. I would like to teach. Hope's face brightened. If you'll have me. Willa continued. I spent 50 years hiding my Omega side. But that taught me a great deal about controlling myself inside hostile environments. I think some of it could help. It would be invaluable. Hope smiled. I'd be honored. As sunset approached, Hope escaped the meeting and searched for Isaac. Their quarters were no longer a tent. A permanent home now stood at the center of the compound. Isaac sat on the porch. All 3 pups were asleep in a pile across his lap. They ambushed me, he whispered. Hope covered a laugh. I've been trapped for 20 minutes. You're the Alpha King. She sat beside him. Order them to move. Absolutely not. Isaac looked down at the pups with complete devotion. They may imprison me whenever they like. Hope leaned against him. The sky turned orange and pink. Fires appeared around the compound. Families returned home. Food was prepared. Laughter carried between houses. Isaac spoke softly. Do you ever miss it? Miss what? Your old life. Before all of this, Hope thought of Clearwater. The rejection. The loneliness. The woman she had been. Always frightened. Always waiting for proof that she was not enough. No. She answered honestly. I don't miss who I was. Then she reconsidered. But I'm grateful for her. Isaac looked at her. She survived long enough for me to become this. Hope gestured toward everything around them. The pups, the compound, the life we built. She smiled. What I had before wasn't really living. It was existing. Hope rested her head on Isaac's shoulder. This is living. Isaac kissed her temple. I'm glad. Because I intend to spend the rest of my very long life making sure you never doubt that you deserve this. The rest of your life? Hope teased. That's an awfully long commitment. Not long enough. Isaac's answer was serious. I would choose eternity if the goddess offered it. Later, after feeding the pups and settling them into their own room with real beds instead of baskets, Hope and Isaac stood alone on their porch. The moon rose above the territories. Hope felt the silver flame resting inside her. Always there now. Controlled. Hers. I've been thinking about names, Isaac said. Hope turned. What names? For our children. His hand rested gently against her stomach. The ones we'll have someday. When the territory is stable. When the pups are older. When we're prepared to add more chaos. Hope's breath caught. They had mentioned children before. Never so concretely. What names? For a girl. Isaac smiled. Maybe Amalia. Hope's throat tightened. To honor their mother? Yes. And for a boy? Isaac paused. I thought you could choose. Hope laughed through sudden tears. You're naming hypothetical children before I'm even pregnant. I'm planning our future. Isaac turned Hope toward him. I want to picture it. Children. Chaos. Whatever disasters we survive next. His expression softened. I want to imagine growing old with you. Hope's eyes filled. Teaching our children, our grandchildren, becoming the embarrassing old wolves who tell everyone about the time you defeated ancient evil using literal divine fire. Hope laughed while tears fell. You really think about this? Every day. Isaac wiped her cheeks. I think about a future where you aren't surviving. You're thriving. Where the pups grow up safe. Where your Omega school becomes legendary. Where everyone gets so tired of seeing us happy that they make jokes about it. His smile became wicked. And where I get at least 50 more years to love you. 50? Hope pretended to think. I suppose that's acceptable. Acceptable? Isaac raised an eyebrow. Exceptional, Hope corrected. Perfect. She touched his face. Everything I never knew I wanted. Everything I somehow found anyway. Hope pulled him down and kissed him. I love you, Isaac Bowman. My king, my mate, my partner in absolutely everything. I love you too, Hope Bowman. Hope pulled back. What did you call me? Isaac grinned. Hope Bowman. You took my name when we mated. Did you think I was going to keep calling you Hope Horn forever? Hope stared. She had never really considered it. Hope Bowman. She tested the words. That's actually my name. That is actually your name. Isaac's expression softened. You're mine, and I'm yours. Forever. Hope smiled. Forever. 6 months earlier, forever had felt impossible. Now it stretched before them. An open road filled with love, danger, work, laughter, pups, arguments, dreams, and everything else that came with building a life together. A cry came from inside. Probably Sterling. Hope immediately turned. Isaac caught her hand. 1 second. She looked back. He pulled her against his chest. Let me remember this moment. Hope smiled. Why? Because right now. Isaac looked across their territory. Everything feels perfect. Hope followed his gaze. Their home, their people, their future. She rested her hands over his. It is. Then she turned in his arms. And we're going to keep building it together. Together, Isaac echoed. He kissed her once more. Then Hope Bowman and her mate went inside to care for their family.